Adorno, a significant figure in the continental tradition, including Hegel, Nietzsche, and Heidegger, has not garnered much critical attention in the Anglo-American Academy, particularly from philosophers. Various reasons may account for this lack of attention, such as the perceived difficulty and obscurity of Adorno's writing, its seeming irrelevance to certain philosophical discussions, or the forbidding nature of his ideas. Consequently, the implications of Adorno's work, especially for analytical philosophy, have remained largely unexplored. However, the publication of J. Bernstein's Adorno, Disenchantment and Ethics is poised to alter this state of affairs. For the first time since Adorno's death in 1969, Bernstein's study not only draws on a wide range of contemporary positions, but also situates Adorno within the heart of current philosophical debates in ethics. While Adorno's arguments may not immediately convince many analytic philosophers, Bernstein effectively demonstrates that Adorno's account warrants serious consideration and accomplishment in itself. As Bernstein suggests, Adorno's work can be viewed as a companion to recovering ethical life. Jürgen Habermas and the Future of Critical Theory, Bernstein's 1994 critical examination of Habermas' theory of communicative action and discourse ethics. Although Bernstein recommended Adorno over Habermas in that earlier book, it was not entirely clear at the time whether Adorno could be credited with anything akin to an ethical theory, capable of competing with Habermas' elaborate discourse ethics. Indeed, most readers of Adorno have noted that it is not immediately evident that he defends a position in moral philosophy. In examining negative dialectics and problems of moral philosophy, two works that appear to address ethical issues. One finds meta-criticism efforts to view philosophical theory within the terms set by the social and historical circumstances of its formulation rather than traditional theory, in the positive sense of the word. While Adorno's writings may initially seem challenging and abstract, Bernstein's analysis illuminates the ethical dimensions embedded within them. By situating Adorno's ideas within contemporary philosophical debates, Bernstein highlights their relevance and potential contributions to ethical discourse. While Adorno's arguments may not align neatly with the perspectives of analytic philosophers, Bernstein demonstrates that they merit serious consideration and engagement. One of the challenges in interpreting Adorno's work lies in reconciling his emphasis on meta-criticism with traditional ethical theory. Adorno's approach to ethics is characterized by a critical stance toward prevailing philosophical frameworks, rooted in an awareness of the social and historical context shaping philosophical discourse. Rather than offering a systematic ethical theory, Adorno engages in meta-reflection on the conditions of possibility for ethical inquiry itself. Bernstein's study offers a nuanced interpretation of Adorno's thought, emphasizing its relevance to contemporary ethical debates. While Adorno may not provide ready-made answers to ethical questions, his critical perspective prompts reflection on the limitations and biases inherent in ethical reasoning. By situating Adorno's work within the broader context of critical theory and ethical philosophy, Bernstein sheds light on its significance for contemporary philosophical discourse. Bernstein's exploration of Adorno's ethical thought presents a compelling vision that sheds light on contemporary moral philosophy. He argues that much of modern moral philosophy, including neo-Kantianism, discourse ethics, and consequentialism, suffers from a motivational deficit and inability to indicate how and why agents should be motivated to act morally in a given situation. Bernstein contends that Adorno, as a thinker intensely aware of this problem, offers valuable insights into addressing this deficit, and defends Adorno's relevance in contemporary intellectual discourse. One of Bernstein's central arguments is that the ethical demand, generated by the good, consistently aligns with the non-identical or sensuous particularity. He illustrates this argument with examples such as the body in pain, which calls for compassion and healing. Bernstein suggests that the desire for such a response arises from our animal nature, and finds expression in material inferences from awareness of a state of affairs. However, this argument raises questions about the justification for privileging certain responses over others. While compassion and healing may seem inherently valuable, why do aggressive or destructive responses not equally count as object-oriented and involving sensuous immediacy? Bernstein's emphasis on sensuous immediacy as possessing intrinsic normative force overlooks the complexities of human aggression and destructiveness. By focusing solely on examples that support his argument, Bernstein neglects the possibility that sensuous immediacy may not always align with the good. Additionally, his suggestion to resurrect a legitimate anthropomorphism by bringing living nature into view may invite skepticism. While this approach acknowledges the significance of contingent and historically conditioned practices, it also risks aligning with non-cognitivist moral skepticism. A Levinasian position, which posits the other as entirely beyond the domain of material inference, offers an alternative response to the problem. According to Levinas, the other is the source of the ethical demand, and transcends empirical categories. By placing the other beyond the realm of material inference, Levinasian ethics avoids the pitfalls of anthropomorphism and skepticism inherent in Bernstein's approach. In Bernstein's thought-provoking book, there emerges a nuanced exploration of modernity's impact on ethical ideals and authority. One point of contention lies in Bernstein's seeming implication that pre-modern social arrangements, while often repressive, maintained moral ideals and sources of ethical authority intact. This perspective suggests a contrast between pre-modern societies, which seemingly preserved moral values, and modern societies, which are depicted as leading to moral nihilism. This apparent nostalgia for pre-modern arrangements is particularly evident in Bernstein's defense of charismatic authority, as described by Max Weber, which can foster non-reflective acceptance among followers. This inclination towards pre-modern structures hints at a latent conservatism in Bernstein's work, posing challenges for adopting robust ethical positions in contemporary society. However, Bernstein also envisions the true realization of modernity in terms of a promise, suggesting the potential for an ethical life worth pursuing amidst modern challenges. Yet, there remains ambiguity surrounding the nature of this promise. Does Bernstein imply an infinite deferral, suggesting an unattainable ideal? If so, this could be seen as demanding too much, risking the rejection of any meaningful ethical framework. Alternatively, if activating material inferences can facilitate a Wittgensteinian remembrance of our linguistic practices and their implications, Bernstein's project may offer practical insights. This tension between nostalgia for pre-modern structures and the promise of modernity underscores the complexity of Bernstein's argument. While he highlights the potential pitfalls of modernity, he also suggests that it holds the promise of a more ethical existence. However, the exact nature of this promise remains elusive, raising questions about the feasibility of realizing ethical ideals within contemporary society. In navigating these complexities, Bernstein's work prompts readers to critically examine the relationship between modernity and ethics. By acknowledging the challenges posed by modern social arrangements, he encourages a reconsideration of traditional sources of ethical authority. However, his emphasis on the promise of modernity also suggests the potential for innovation and progress in ethical thought. Ultimately, Bernstein's exploration of modernity and ethics invites readers to engage in a nuanced reflection on the possibilities and limitations of ethical life in contemporary society. While his analysis may raise questions and uncertainties, it also offers valuable insights into the complex interplay between social structures, ethical ideals, and individual agency. By grappling with these issues, readers are prompted to consider how best to navigate the ethical complexities of the modern world.